everybody to the Sports Wrap. George Ringer. It's July.
Yeah.
You had a good 4th?
Oh, great 4th. A little bit warm, but no, it was a great 4th.
It was a lot warm. It was a lot warm.
Yeah, it was a lot warm. But the whole family's there. The kids were running around. Everything's cool when that's happening.
Yeah. 60 in the 60s on Tuesday. That's more like my style.
Oh yeah, I'm a 68-degree man all the way around the board.
It's been a tough week, but looks like we made it through. Looks like we'll get to some more normal summer temperatures for International Falls, mid-70s, maybe low 80s, and we can handle that.
Oh no, I wouldn't be surprised if there's another heat streak coming in behind the big lump. So
it's only July 5th.
If we get a little rain, we'd be all right.
We could use a lot of rain, actually, but we shouldn't pray for that because we'll get ourselves into trouble with the locals and whatever else. So, what do you want to talk sports-wise? I see who you got written right here on the top.
He's amazing.
He wants to talk about Shohei Ohtani.
So what can we have possibly to say about him? He's hitting 31 home runs with 67 RBIs. He's 3-1 with 83 strikeouts. I mean, he's pitching and hitting.
He's the first player in Major League history to be named to the All-Star game as a position player and a pitcher in the same year.
This is what his manager said to him. The guy's going to participate in the home run derby, pitch in the All-Star game, and hit in the All-Star game. That hasn't happened like never.
Well, Joe Maddon, I saw a similar quote, tweet, whatever it was today, that basically said, who's ever managing, and I don't remember who's managing, it doesn't matter, he told them, you pitch them and you play them. Because this isn't may never happen again. You make sure that you get them in the game for both. And they're going to have to maybe bend the rules a little bit, they thought, to make it happen. But
and this is his second year in the league. He's just beginning.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah,
I mean, the arm could go, the elbow could go, and that could be the end of things. And I don't wish anything bad on the guy. Just
if he couldn't pitch anymore, what else could he do?
Well, I think he'll be all right financial wise. Unless he's Miguel Sano and we just don't know it. But
listen, if you could stay up late tonight, which I might be able to. But he's playing against the Red Sox. I don't think he's pitching, but I know that he'll be the designated hitter, and he is fun to watch, And when you think about it, I mean, he's 6'4" and about 230 pounds. The guy's a chunk, and he puts the strap in that bat. Whoa! It just goes. I wouldn't say he threw the ball over the plate at 100 miles an hour, and when it left the bat, it was going 105. So. Whatever it is, this young man's really fun to watch, and I would pay a ticket to watch him.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nelson Cruz gets named to his 7th All-Star game. I'm not saying that Nelson Cruz isn't worthy, because he is, but it almost was by default, wasn't it? Because there was really nobody else on the Twins that could have been selected.
No.
Am I being too harsh on the board?
Buxton probably would have been.
Well, Buxton would have been there.
And so but
Buxton probably would have been voted in by the fans if he had stayed healthy.
Geez, that health thing is an issue. But it was nice to see Nelson. He's hitting a little bit better. He's whapping a couple of hits. Maybe he can go down there and put a nice face on. He's 41 years old. I mean, what does he have? 10 years at the most. So
yeah. Well, I just hope that here we are on July 5th. The Twins haven't made that move. Matter of fact, they lost 5 of 6 on the road last week, which is a sign to me that we are going to become a seller's team, a seller's market in the next couple of weeks. I saw a rumor mill that said Josh Donaldson's heading to the New York Mets. The Mets in first place in the East. Who couldn't use another bat? He's played in the National League. It's possible that Josh Donaldson could go. They can move Sano back to third base. They got Arise who can play third base. Got Donaldson who can play third base.
Donaldson's been a real nice addition to this baseball team this year. I hate to see him go after 1 year.
Yes, I agree. It was a good signing. It was too bad he got injured early in the year. Having said all that, yeah, I don't know who else is going to be going. Will Miguel Sano be going? I heard somebody telling me they wanted Jorge Polanco gone. Get rid of him. It's over.
He
He needs to move on.
Nice home run yesterday too, didn't he?
He did, and Arise could move back to second base.
He could.
And
Very
put some-
talented.
So they've got options. Can you go out and add a pitcher, a young couple of young arms? It's been done in the past. It'll be done again.
Miata pitched. He was.
Kenta pitched
He-
well. Yeah.
So, you know, and you have to get 2 or 3 of those 6-inning, you know, deals from your pitchers a
I'd
week.
like to see 7 innings.
So, well, I would
Because
too.
you know where our problem really lies at is in the bullpen.
Well, and Jim Cott more or less said that. He says the reason that they don't go beyond 6 is they don't train them to go beyond 6. They are trained to go, and then, you know, before they had, you know, the middle reliever and the closer and all that. Middle reliever, 50 years ago, there was no such thing.
No, it's it'll be interesting to see what the Twins do over the next few weeks to the trade deadline on July 31st. Like I said, could be a very different ball club. Could be playing for draft choices and whatever else. Don't want to see that happen, but it could happen.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the All-Star game is going to be July 13th. The night before is going to be the Home Run Derby, and I will be watching the home. Number one, they're really fun to watch these guys put the belt in them. You know, I mean, they get them 450 feet, and so it'll be fun to see just how the young guy competes with his punch.
And that's exactly what it comes down to. How does he handle the situation?
Yes.
They all do a little bit differently. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree.
How about our boy Wyatt Ulrich?
How did he do this weekend?
Well, I believe when I checked yesterday, his batting average was only up to 390.
390.
Just 390.
He's 10 points from hitting 400.
He's got a 21-game hitting streak. So how's that for a number?
I'm not here to make bold predictions, but this kid's not done with his baseball career.
No.
He is not even close.
No,
And-
I think he's played in 29 games, I think what it is, or 29 or 30 now. And to think that he has a 21-game hitting streak is absolutely.
It's only been a couple of games where he hasn't got anything. And,
Correct.
And the first two games, I know he didn't get a hit. Or maybe he got
one hit, I think, in game 2 or whatever it was. But you know, yeah, the team is batting like 315 as a team. They're batting 315. So the problem is they're not winning games right now. And you can hit this bejeebers out of the ball, but this team, the Sioux Falls Canaries, have a tough time pitching it. And I know last night they got down early and lost to Claiborne. Just going to try to think of the nickname, but I can't think of it. Anyway, they're down towards Texas. Can imagine, although somebody told me cooler in Texas on Saturday than it was here on Saturday.
Nothing's wrong with that.
Got the world turned upside down or something. So keep it up, Wyatt Ulrich. You're my hero.
Yes.
How's that?
Hey, we gotta have a football guy or a baseball guy from the community. Hey, he's doing real well.
What else? Have we got anything else baseball that we want to
No,
discuss?
I don't think. I'm just kind of looking forward to the halfway mark because right now the Twins are, well, subpar.
Subpar?
And so you can't win anything when you're chipping subpar, and they know that, and it's just like, you know, I'd like for them to reach this halfway part. They're going against Chicago tonight.
Oh, hey, if you could win 2 out of 3 from Chicago and win 3 out of 3, I'm assuming that I believe it's 3 games, and then I think they play Kansas City again, and don't quote me on that, folks, because I didn't look it up. But you got 6 home games before the All-Star break, 7 home games, whichever it is. You could win 5 out of 6, 5 out of 7, 6 out of 7. All of a sudden you go into the break, and now maybe you're thinking differently, but that's pretty high hopes.
A 5-game win streak, is that the max they've had this year?
That probably is it.
That's probably it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's It is what it is.
It is what it is.
What do you want to talk about next?
You know,
Hockey, basketball, soccer, golf, tennis.
let's see what's on the thing here. Number one, I've been watching my new friend Roger Bennett. He's the guy that wrote Reborn in the USA. He's an Englishman that studies soccer, and he has this podcast called Men in Blazers. This guy is a real crack up. But he came on and he talked about the Euro 2020.
Euro 2020?
And the first thing that happened was, and it hasn't happened since 1966, I believe,
Yeah.
England beat Germany.
And they were talking that Germany doesn't quite have the team that they've had in the past. But was that a shocking number?
They showed this crowd of Englishmen going nuts when they got the second goal. They were just absolutely berserkers. You know, if they think that American fans are the craziest, they are not even close. And, you know, but I'm really kind of looking forward to their next match. But what's coming up is Spain and Italy. Spain is, in the last 3 or 4 years, 29-1, and Italy's been undefeated. They've got 30-some games, and so, and they are really, really going to be competitive. And this is
Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday?
I'm not quite sure. I couldn't find out a lot of things about this game. They don't tell you stuff, you know, like we do here.
Yeah, I think Tuesday, Wednesday, because I think the third place match is on Saturday and the championship is
Sunday.
I think. Again, don't quote me on that. It was a busy weekend with the 4th of July.
Well, and that's why I couldn't believe I got Euro 2020 in. But it was really quite a shooting match.
It is. The European soccer is good stuff, obviously, and the Loons got a 2-2 tie.
They did.
Not a good 2-2 tie. Playing against one of the worst teams in the Western Conference in San Jose, but they were in front of the home fans and didn't take care of business. They were up 2-1, and they gave up a goal, I think, in the 81st or 82nd minute. And you just can't do that on your home pitch. Oh, big word there. And,
your home pitch. That's what they call the field, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Off to Colorado on Wednesday, but they have not been beaten. They haven't lost in 7 straight matches, so
who knows?
not too shabby.
I want to run something by you, and we'll see where we want to go with this. But I want to talk about Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yeah.
She's probably the fastest runner in the world, and
female runner in the world.
And she, of course, was on a test that she was tested positive for cannabis, and they shut her down for a month. And this is getting all kinds of feedback, actually, for both directions.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm just.
I was surprised the angle that Jim Souhan took in the Minneapolis paper.
I was very surprised.
That's shocking.
Yes.
I'm not saying he's wrong, and I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying I was shocked.
Cruel and senseless.
Cruel and senseless. The rules. I read just a little blurb of it at one point today, and he said something to this effect: "It is a proven fact that marijuana does nothing to improve your athletic performance," something along that line. So why are we punishing her for using it? But at the same time, if there are rules that say you can't do it, then I mean,
well, that is the dilemma.
That is the dilemma.
It's like he also went and said the best way to assess the justness of a rule or law is to imagine what people in the future will think of it. Now, I think that there's sooner or later, because it's already happening in so many states, the liberalization of cannabis laws is here, and so they're inconsistent. So she's out running a race in a state where it is legal, and I'm not. You know, I mean, if she said I was smoking pot because I was feeling depressed over losing my mother, I guess maybe I might question that. I would suspect that she's probably been using pot off and on for a long time.
Seems probable, but I have no way of knowing that. Here's my thing, and I want to go to what you just said about what Jim Souhan said. So we're getting into the college kids being able to be paid. Okay, Fine. Now they're saying because Reggie Bush 16 years ago took payments that he should get his Heisman Trophy back. And I'm like, HE double toothpicks, no. No, the rules were the rules in 2005. He broke the rules then, that's the way it was. To me, if you break the rules then, the law changes, I don't understand how you say we took the trophy away because he did this. It was illegal then, and now we should give it back to him. That would change.
Well, you know, but you have to bring into consideration that last week a high school basketball player signed a contract for $2.2 million because they know he's going to be a superstar and they want to sell his T-shirts.
Yeah.
And so you see this, he's in high school. And so the college and the amateur rules have all changed. This is a little bit different.
No, I agree, but I think there's a link there, because if you're going to say, well, in the future, if Souhan's saying in the future the rules are going to change and cannabis is going to be legal, well, that changes everything, because in the future we might be able to. I hate to go to the extreme because my wife hates it, but that's the way I do things. Well, pretty soon I'm going to be able to kill somebody because it's going to be legal in the future. I don't know, maybe in 100 years it'll be legal. It never will be. But that's the point I'm trying to make. How do we know what the rules are going to be in the future, what the laws are going to be in the future? She broke the rules. She knew I think she knew what she was doing. She rolled the dice and lost.
Somebody had to tell her, you in all likelihood will be tested, and they probably give. Because the IOC does not test for cannabis.
Okay.
They test for other chemical type things. Yeah. They really don't test for cannabis, but American rules are different. And this is their committee now. They are attempting to work this around so she can run a leg in the 4x100.
Yeah, I see this changing. I see them changing the rule before we get to the Olympics. I really do. There's going to be enough protest out there. There's going to be enough uproar. There's going to be enough whatever. But I still stand by the Reggie Bush thing. You broke the rules when you broke the rules. That was whatever. Going back and getting, I mean, in the big scheme of things, the Heisman Trophy was vacated that year. Nobody got it. If Reggie Bush gets it back, does it matter to me? In the big picture, no. But I guess if you broke the rule when the rule was in place, you were guilty and you should not get your award back. And like I said, rules change. I agree, but.
No, I'll tell you, college sports and amateur sports is going to change so much, and I don't want to say in the next 10 years, in the next 2 or 3. It's happening, it's right here, right now, and it should be really interesting. I think that it is prime for corruption.
We talked about that sitting at this table in these chairs probably 10 months ago.
Yes.
12 months ago maybe, when this was first brought up, and we're like, oh my gosh, does that open up a box of whatever? But yeah.
No, and then the organization said that they were going to outlaw some swim caps too for black people, because, well, I'm not quite sure why they're outlawing that.
Okay.
But it's really kind of amazing. This is much like the rules that will keep a handful of talented black women from competing in Tokyo. That's what they're talking about. Their hat.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Of course, the Olympics just over 2 weeks away. Kind of scary. We'll be there shortly.
There was a young man that plays hockey for Columbus, 24 years old, died in a tragic accident.
Pretty scary.
It really is, I mean, 24 years old, big strong kid from Latvia, top prospect. And it's you feel real bad for when something like that happens.
Well, and I'll tell you, I hate to say it this way, because I think about my son-in-law with the fireworks last night, and the firemen and his crew that go out and set off the fireworks here in town. You know, you get an accident, something bad happens. I don't know if they're using mortar rounds, like this guy ended up getting hit, something fell over, the fireworks went off, he got hit with a mortar in the chest and killed him. You would hope that we aren't doing anything quite that large here in town. Maybe we are, I don't know. But I feel fortunate. You think about what we, 4th of July, you think how many people are out there dealing with fireworks, and the number of professionals that where things just can sometimes go wrong.
There's a fire down in Evelyn way as well.
I did not hear about that.
They were actually putting on the fireworks display, and it got into some grass, and it is dry.
It is very dry. I questioned my son-in-law about that very thing, about are you sure this is a wise idea about going ahead and start setting up those fireworks in these conditions? And he said he was more worried about the rain coming in and spoiling, that they weren't going to get to light them up.
The rain.
So I'm like, well, he's the fire chief for a reason. That's Anyway, the kid's name, the goaltender, I think Matisse Kivlenix, I think is how it's pronounced. But yeah, tragedy for Columbus and the NHL and everything that happened there. I see you got starters there for the. You want to go back and talk a little baseball?
Just talk a little baseball. I found the key to success. Boston Red Sox have 6 people on this All-Star team. Twins, we got 1.
And why do you think that is?
Well, I just think they got a much better team, and they're leading their.
They were one of the worst teams in the league last year.
Yeah, they were.
But I will say this: the Boston faithful are a hardy bunch, and 2 of the starters are Red Sox. So I'm not saying that there are better third baseman or shortstop in the league. I'm not here to contend that, but I'm here to say that Aaron Judge. I haven't heard too much about Aaron Judge this year.
No.
The 2 guys from Boston, and Xander Bogaerts and Rafael Devers. Not saying they had poor years, but nothing has stood out to me. Mike Trout gets voted in. He's played 36 games. He's only played 9 more games than our good friend Byron Buxton. So what I'm saying is, we get these fan voting, and I understand it's a fans game. Fine, okay. Then the players go vote 3 more Boston players on for and the manager's picks and everything else, and I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. I don't watch the All-Star game. I don't hardly watch any All-Star games. I won't watch the NHL. I won't watch the NBA. I refuse to watch the NFL Pro Bowl. I mean, this would be the only of the All-Star games. This would probably be the only one I'll watch, and I will watch probably very little of it, just because I think we still get the best players in there, but I don't like the way that it's done. I really don't. I understand it's a fans game, but there's just, when you got the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Angels and Dodgers and Mets who have 6 jillion fans, and then you've got the Twins who only have like 42 million, that number.
Well, that's okay. The Yankees are playing just awful right now.
And we couldn't be happier.
Well, I remember a sticker I saw in Boston one time, and it was, "I'm a Red Sox fan. My second favorite team is anybody that hates the New York Yankees." And this is basically how they feel. And I mean, I've been to the Temple. I've been to Fenway. It does get you when you go in there. It's an amazing place.
But I will say this: where do you see any Yankees on here other than Aaron Judge? The Yankees only got 1 starter.
They only got 1 starter.
So I don't know if my argument necessarily holds water. The thing that kind of bugged me was that they put Aroldis Chapman on the team. The players did, and he's doing absolutely awful lately.
He is. But and Garrett Cole is. I mean, he got booed off the field the other day. So they're having tough going, and I mean. And
of course, somebody had to mention all the former Twins.
5 former Twins playing in the All-Stars. Can you imagine? Why would they even put that in the paper?
To jab us, to make it. Hey, when Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson, when these guys are making the All-Star game, I start to wonder how watered down are we going. I'm not saying Kyle Gibson's not a good pitcher. I'm not saying Lance Lynn's not a good pitcher. They just didn't pitch that well. It didn't seem ever for the Twins. So, every one of these teams has got to have somebody who makes the team. Okay, I'm just saying that. So there's a little bit of that. So anyway, we got to get off this, George.
We do.
Because I'm going to say something to offend too many people about the All-Star game.
I don't want you to offend anybody.
You want to talk? We should talk NHL after we talk a little hockey.
Okay, I'll tell you. Here it is. What is it? Second week in July, first week in July, and we're almost done with the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we're a week or 10 days away from getting the NBA title, both of which are considered winter sports.
Yeah.
And so they're going to go home, have a good supper, take a nap, and start playing these seasons all over again. And it's just, it just seems to me that it just went a little bit too long, and I suspect the reason for that was the late start.
Oh yeah, absolutely, the late start.
But I want to know, did you predict Phoenix and Milwaukee to be in the finals?
I'd like to know a guy who, on maybe Christmas Day, was in Vegas and said, NBA Finals, pick 2 teams. I'll take $100, a C note on Phoenix and Milwaukee. And they probably laughed at the guy and said, yeah, right, whatever. You're going to go against LeBron James and everybody else out west, and you're going to bet against the Nets in the East. And somebody probably had to. Somebody made some big money. Yeah, I think for me, last week, the scary part about the NBA was Milwaukee wrapped it up without Giannis.
They did. But I'm going to tell you about that Milwaukee team. They can shoot to beat the band, and they're hitting 4-4s and 4-5s and 5s and 6s and all from the threes. Hard to beat a team like that.
So who do you give the advantage to in the finals?
Well, I'm not sure. I've been doing so lousy at the beginning of this season, but I do know that Phoenix played really good defense, and they kind of held a pretty good team down.
Do they have an advantage because they've had a few extra days off?
I'd like to think maybe because they can just heal some of their injuries, but once those guys get in that rhythm, I think they like to stay in that rhythm.
And I think that's where Milwaukee's at. They finish up on Saturday, they start Tuesday. They'll get things going, and 7-game series. Phoenix has got the home court advantage. I'm going to go Phoenix, but I think it's going to go 7.
I think it's going to go 7 too. The teams are very comparable, and they have some of the same skills, and Milwaukee's been building this program for a long time. They really have, and they've
kind of been underachieving.
Yes, I think they have
a little bit. So we'll see what happens. It ought to be interesting. We were here last week saying the NBA can't be happy with Phoenix and Atlanta or Milwaukee. They've got who they've got. I can't wait to see the ratings. I really can't.
It'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting to see how things go.
Actually, all pro sports ratings are down quite a bit, and it's just.
But I want to see what happens here. How is it going to go bad, or is it going to?
I'll tell you. After one of the baseball strikes, attendance was real low, and then they got to the playoff season. All of a sudden, attendance was sky high. Yeah. So people,
have a tendency to forget.
They love their sports, and sports are kind of the deal that holds us together. Remember, bread and circus, and so I think they're going to be just fine. It'll be interesting. I mean, now the Twins can have full stadium, right?
Twins can have a full stadium. That's what I heard. Yep.
Yeah. Well,
it won't be full, but they could.
They could.
The Lynx. Big win, couple big wins. Speaking of Phoenix, the Mercury.
What are they, 8 in a row now?
I think they've won 8 out of their last 11. I think is what it is. They're 8-7. They're above the 500 mark, and they win twice in Phoenix. They get their second biggest win ever. I think they won by 31 points.
Yeah,
not too shabby.
No,
but George and I were here a week ago about this time. We got done taping our show. I pulled my phone out. We're walking over to the bar here at the Muni, and I told George, I said, the Minnesota Lynx, they released Rachel Banham. And George was like, what? how do you live in Minnesota? You can't release a Minnesota girl, blah, blah, blah. Guess what they did today, George? They re-signed her. They re-signed Rachel Banham today. So
they brought her in last fall for a while. She was the energy of the team, and and it's.
I don't understand. They brought in this Clarendon, Laisha Clarendon from the Mystics, or from New York. Excuse me, New York, and they ended up cutting her and re-signing her like 3 days later here, about 2 weeks ago. So the Lynx must be on the edge of health and everything else, getting everybody there. But Cheryl Reeve is doing what she's doing, and they signed Banham for the rest of the season. And I just think the Lynx are going to make a run. I don't know if they're Seattle good, or they're going to make a run.
I think they are too. And once they get that habit of winning, remember they lost 6 in a row at the beginning of the season. It's just it's catchy.
The Olympics are coming up. The WNBA will shut down for a month.
Yeah.
Could lose their momentum. We'll see.
Well, it should. The 23rd of July is when the Olympics start, and there's going to be a schedule there that I know I'm going to be getting up quite early in the morning and watching wrestling.
When are we going to sleep? Is what I want to know.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time squeezing it in now.
But we'll see what happens there. We should talk a little bit more hockey yet. Are we done with basketball?
No. We're done with basketball.
So Tampa Bay, chance to finish it off tonight.
They're a very good hockey team. Ringer, they got good goalie. They got good defense. They're big. They're strong, and they're repeat.
Very good chance to repeat. Obviously, they're up 3-0. The mayor of Tampa Bay, or Tampa, told them to take it easy tonight so that they could win it on home ice. That's a bad.
No.
You
don't want to do that.
Don't do that, boys.
Well, and the thing of it is about hockey these days, a 3-goal lead is nothing. No. You can score a lot of goals really quick. I'm not sure what the type of goaltending that Tampa has, or for that matter, with what Montreal did. They're very good goaltenders.
Yeah, very good goaltenders.
Yeah.
Scary part is Montreal just got fans back in the seats.
I know.
I think like 25 or 3,500 or whatever it is, and then they didn't perform very well. I think Montreal wins tonight, forces Game 5, and but Tampa closes it out.
Well, Tampa, as they said in Montreal, we're not done yet. No, probably not, but you've got to be close.
Yeah, they'll play with a little bit more edge tonight. I'm sure they played with edge on Friday night. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I think Montreal wins 1, and then it'll be over. Wild re-signed Joel Eriksson Ek.
Yes.
8 years, $42 million.
Yeah, he did well.
It's not, it's a good pile of money, but it's not crazy numbers.
Well, they're going to have enough money to sign the other two, Fiala and Kirill.
There's discussion. They signed Nick Bukestad late this afternoon to about $1 million for next year. Bukestad, of course, a Minnesota boy, did very well this past year, 4th line guy, doing the dirty work and doing those kinds of things. Yeah, Fiala and Kaprizov. I was reading something today that basically said they're not going to get those long-term deals like Ek got. They're going to have to keep it down because they got to worry about space. And it sounded like the way this guy was writing, the article this guy was writing, that they're not going to probably sign them until after the expansion draft. Who are the Wild going to lose?
Oh, that's a big question.
Who are they going to lose?
That'll make you nervous there.
Well, absolutely, it'll make you nervous, and you can only protect so many players, and so they were kind of speculating that it would be. They didn't think it would happen, that they would sign Fiala or Kaprizov to a contract until all of that was done. They're going to probably get to re-sign them. But who do they lose? Do you lose a Dumba or somebody?
I don't want to lose a Dumba.
And how do the numbers all work out? So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
It really will. Next couple of months, And I mean, you think of these professional clubs. How would you like to be a general manager and try to keep up to make these decisions? It's again, I revert back to Moneyball. It's just this is dealing, and
I think about that piece of carpeting that's too big for the room, so you push it into 3 corners, and this side goes up, and kind of how you,
Yeah,
the general manager
exactly.
sometimes has to feel. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough space to do my thing. What else you got?
I got a couple of things. I want to congratulate Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut ate 76 hot dogs at the Nathan hot dog eating contest, and he beat his record by 1.
I can't watch it, George.
No, I can't either.
It makes me, like, I like to eat, you can tell. It makes me uncomfortable, for lack of a better term.
I like to enjoy my hot dog, Tim. I remember the last great hot dog I had. It was at a Minnesota Vikings game. Those hot dogs are so big and so thick and so expensive.
You had to enjoy it.
It was a great hot dog. So yeah, I agree. They dip them in water and throw them down. No way to enjoy your meal. But I got some other bad news.
Bad news.
Yeah, and this comes right from Ohio State, and this is J.T. Tuimoloau, and he's the #1 defensive candidate being recruited out of high school this year. He's 6'4", 277 pounds. He is the next Charlie Young or whatever. He plays the edge or he can play the interior, but he looks like an edge man to me. He also is 277. He's lean. He looks lean. So he's got weight to put on. The bad part is, unless they beat him up at fall practice, he will be in Minneapolis on September 3rd.
Now, did they sign him? I thought he was for 2022. I thought he was
2022.
I thought he was a senior this. He's a senior this coming year. I thought, but I didn't read up on it closely enough.
Oh God!
Let me see about
I get those numbers confused, but this kid looked like a candidate.
Let me see here. Ohio State. Oops, no B in Ohio State, Tim. Let's see.
Tuimoloau.
Ohio State football recruiting. He is the #4 prospect in the 2021 class, so he will not be in Minneapolis. We'll go see him the next couple of years. Yes. So he will not be signing for this fall. He'll be signing for 2022.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's good news then.
Yeah, that's not such bad news for me.
I was looking forward to seeing him play, but not this year.
Well, I'm sure he'll be on ESPN a couple times when they show their high school football. So.
And I got a downside too. When I was growing up and watching college football, and I'm sure Terry Donahue was the icon UCLA man.
He was a D tackle?
He was a defensive tackle, 200 pounds. 200 pounds D1 defensive tackle.
I read that, I'm like, no. Defensive back, yeah.
No, I've seen some of those 200, 205 pounders. They just disappear, you can't hit them. They're chicken, they run away, and then they make the tackle. It's, they're maddening. Anyway, he was a great guy, and he went on to be general manager up at San Francisco, and spent a great lifetime in sports, and it's too bad.
Yeah, 77 years old. It's young.
That's young.
Seems a little too early, but
it does to me.
So, what else you got?
That might be it in terms of my notes.
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon
last Americans lost today.
Federer, how did Federer do?
Federer ended up winning in 3 sets today.
Did he?
Had a little rain delay.
Yeah,
little spinning going on there in London. Djokovic came through. Federer came through. Last American man, Sebastian Korda, he lost in 5 sets, 10-8 in the 5th set. Coco Gauff and Madison Keys lost on the women's side, so no Americans left after we talked about Serena Williams slipping on the grass and injuring herself last week. All the Americans are gone, and so now we got to pull for Roger Federer. Of course, I always pull for Roger Federer to win. This might be his last chance.
It might be his last chance. But I watched him play the first couple of games today, and before the rain came down, and boy, I'll tell you, for an old codger, he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
He's got a really terrific serve and a good smash. I mean, he does well.
I think as the tournament wears on, this is your advice from a tennis coach, Roger. You need to go more to the serve and volley. I haven't watched a whole bunch, but you're going to have to keep the points short. You don't have enough in the tank to go all week playing from the baseline. Can't be going 4 or 5 sets. Got to get out there, serve and volley, take away the net from some of these guys, and shorten up the points so that when you play Djokovic, I believe in the semis. I think they're on the same half of the draw.
And when's that?
Let's see. Let me get it up here because I was looking earlier today. Let's see. They are not on the same half of the draw. They are on opposite sides. So it'd be in the finals that they could face each other. So
That's all right.
yeah,
They're going to be great finals. This Wimbledon is going to. This is going to be fun.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully Sunday morning I can watch a wee bit of it. I got a little work to do on Sunday, but
Well, the other thing I watched a little bit this morning was the Tour de France.
yeah, can you pronounce the name of the guy who's in first place for me?
Yeah,
Tadej Pogačar.
Pogačar. He's from United Arab Emirates.
Really?
Yeah, and
Okay.
they got a whole team of and he's wearing the yellow jersey and he's got a whole team of black ones right in front of him that look like an offensive line, and they just kind of go and he sits around, and at the end this today was uphill. I mean, there was inclines on this hill that made me nervous watching it on TV, and these guys just cranking. You know, they only weigh about 135 pounds, and they got legs like this. They're just, you know, they're walking, talking legs, and they're just amazing athletes.
3 weeks of pedaling a bike, you get an off day. I think today was the off day. I think you're watching a replay. I don't know that for sure. Off day next Monday, and otherwise pedal about 100 miles, and
Yeah.
a lot of it, of course, mountainous stuff and the dangerous downhills. Of course, when they get to the mountains, the Pyrenees, the Alps, that's when it gets exciting.
Well,
That's
they peak up there and they pedal all the way up the hill and then boom. And they're going about 50 miles an hour when they're scooting down that thing.
not for me, man.
No.
Little too crazy for me, but
I wouldn't have walked up some of those hills.
what else? You want to talk about the Rainy Lake Blues Hour a little
The
bit?
Rainy Lake Blues Hour. We put the Rainy Lake Blues Hour. I've had a number of people that have talked about it, called me up and said, hey, this was cool. But we had our first one, and I still have Hoop Snakes music coming out of me, and I went home yesterday and started setting up for next Saturday. So there we are.
Yeah, I think if you read my text message,
I did.
Nice comment from a lady in Canada, hoping that the
From Canada.
was from Canada.
Oh, this looks civilized. Sounded civilized.
Nice comment from there, saying she always listens to KGHS and hopes that the Blues Hour sticks around.
Well, we can keep it for another week at a time.
Yeah, hey, it was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't have to talk very much, so that was the best part of it. Everybody knows I like to talk, but I got to push the little buttons, be producer, and we got it on the air, and
Well,
hey, why not?
That's because I didn't know which buttons to push. But
we might have to teach you so that you can, because you know, there might be a Saturday night when I may have to be gone.
yeah, we'll have to work something out when we do that. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But once you get in there and learn how to do it, and you know that you only got 3 buttons to really push,
I had to admit, I had fun.
I think if people listened, they were enthralled, or they were taken in, and I'm in, I'm out, I'm gone. I like that one. That was the best one of the bunch. So
Charlie Musselwhite and Ben Harper. Yeah,
so if you live in the Falls area, 10 o'clock on Saturday nights on KGHS, 12:30 a.m., 95.3 FM. A little shameless plug for the show, but we get to do those kinds of things.
we do. That's what Shameless is all about.
Yep. And George and I look like we're going to get to do some football games this fall.
We're back in the football business, kids. So we're going from blues to sports to football. We're in good shape.
To the wrap, we're going to spend a lot of time together this fall, and we'll see how things go.
Yeah.
It'll be all right. So,
Keeping me off the streets
and out of jail.
and out of jail. Thanks, God.
Nice guy. What can I say?
Look at the crowd here giving us a
Yeah, I'll
standing
tell you, the crowd is on their feet begging for more, but I think it's time to go. This might be one of our shorter shows, but
It might be, but you know, this is 4th of July thing, and I went over the sports today. There really wasn't much on there besides Wimbledon, and it's just, you know.
things starting to slow down a little bit. That's
They are.
okay.
That's okay.
We can,
It's okay.
Maybe we'll even get a week off coming up.
You know, at the end of the month, the Vikings will start to practice.
And the Olympics will be going on at the end of the month. We'll have plenty of
Olympics will
stuff to talk about.
Yes, that will be a good time.
Thanks everybody for
Thank
watching.
you. See you Saturday night.